Hey everyone, I am so excited to talk to you guys about social media today, and I don't want this to be any other kind of like storytelling training or anything like that. You guys know I'm really big on storytelling, but I want to give you some really tangible tips that have helped me and my coaches and their coaches and their coaches to create a lot more value and engagement on our stories. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I've been hearing a lot of how do I get more followers? How do I get more engagement? How do I get more, right, fill in the blank. And so this is something that has been really tangible and helpful for my team, no matter what rank you are, no matter if you are a brand new coach to a 10-year coach, no matter where you are, these are really tangible tips to help you have a different mindset around what we share every single day on our social media. So I want to start with this quote because I feel like it's really powerful and it's really kind of driven my business ever since I became a coach back in November of 2014. So it says, it's important that we share our experiences with other people. When you tell your story, you free yourself and give other people permission to acknowledge their own story. Now, I think that's so profound because when we think of what we share every single day, our main goal should be to connect with other people. It should be to add value, help them feel heard, help them say, me too, and see themselves in our story, in what we share every single day. So from the very beginning of becoming a coach, right, I didn't have any social media experience. I had very few followers, under 1,000 followers. But from the very beginning, I really wanted to create this trend of showing up every single day to share over sell. And so when I decided that, it really kind of transitioned my business so much into thinking of how can I share with more people versus how can I sell more things. This is kind of my 3x3 method. I realized that in doing a bunch of masterclasses and research, the big underlying theme is that people need more value, right? They want to feel like you are giving more to them before they're ever going to buy into anything that we are offering, right? That's just kind of the world that we live in. They want to know what's in it for me before they actually buy into you and the program and the team and all the stuff that you're promoting all the time or in our business. So I'm going to talk primarily about Instagram stories and Instagram posts, but of course you could adapt this for Facebook as well. I want to talk about 3 types of stories that we can make on a given day and why they're important and why they also can be used for value. So the first of them is a B-roll type footage. Okay, so you're going to see examples on the screen, but this B-roll type footage is, downloading an app like Hyperlapse, or even now you can use Reels, right, and do like the sped up version. So they get really, you're sitting there for like more than, 3 or 4 15-minute increments, but it's really all pinned into one 15-second one. So when you use this B-roll type footage, this is basically a behind the scenes, letting people into the moment with you, giving them an experience that you want them to experience without it being like 30 minutes long. So maybe you're sitting doing your power hour. Maybe you're working out and your kids are running around you, so they see them running in and out. Maybe you are making a meal and they see you doing that in your kitchen. It basically invites people in to see, this is how I do this. This is the kind of life that I have. This is this, situation I'm in. And this is how I make it work for me. And if I can do it, you can do it. And so this B-roll type footage is just a way to give somebody a glimpse into what it is that you're doing every single day. It's a certain type of story that just gives them a moment to be with you. They see you walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So this is something that really allows them to be in that moment with you and just kind of, validates it even more. So the second one is we've got your talking face, your talking head type of story. And this is where you're going to have a camera, your phone close up to your face. This is honestly what we do a lot of, but so often we come in and we're like talking about nothing, right? How often do you pull up your phone, you turn it around, you've only got those 4 slides on Instagram, but you're like talking about whatever, and then you get to the 3rd slide and you're like, oh crap, I haven't even said what I was gonna say, right? So delete it and come back when you are more prepared and you've got yourself all put together and you know exactly what you want to say. This is the kind of footage, the kind of story that we can do a couple times every day, like a little quick commercial break to talk to the person, talk to your avatar, to connect with them on something very specific. So maybe this is giving them a couple tips. Maybe it's a problem that you're commonly hearing in your stories or in your comments on posts and your DMs, and you want to address it and give them a couple steps of how to do something. Maybe it's giving them like a quick tutorial, or it could be anything that directly relates to your audience. But this is where your phone is propped up right here, and there's no outside noise around you. It's very quick and concise. Then the third type of story that we have is static images. So if you're anything like me, like I take pictures all the time and I just kind of have them in my phone. I'll put a filter on them that is like my preset for my feed, and I will save it. And that's I'll show you an example on the screen. It's a great way to keep you in the story, but give them value. And it doesn't have to be someone listening. It's not a video. It's just quick and concise. So this is where, it could be in your brand colors. It could be your pretty Canva slides, right? Or your Unfold app slides that we make that are really, really pretty, but it creates this kind of tap, tap, tap sequencing, and it keeps them moving on. So maybe it's like, need more accountability? Swipe up here to find more information here, and you're giving them all these little steps. And so you can see in this example, it kind of keeps them moving forward in this engaging type of post in a story. And it's just different, right? It could be steps to a recipe. It doesn't have to be a call to action. It could be steps to a recipe or steps to your morning routine, where they're clicking through and they're seeing all the different things you do first. So those are three types of stories that when I realized on my team, my coaches were struggling to figure out, like, how do I even show up every single day and make this something that is valuable? I had them realize that don't be overwhelmed. Like, of course, you're going to add in little things about your kids and stuff like that, but always be thinking about, how can I show up? There's three types of ways that I can really create a good, engaging story to add value. How can I do that a couple times a day and turn what I'm doing on my own journey into something valuable for somebody else to be able to engage with? Then this is where it gets really juicy, okay? So this is the three types of posts. This is where I found that I have a lot of coaches on my team who really struggle with that, paralysis around posting, right? And I realized that a lot of times it's because they felt like they just didn't know what to share, and there was no preparation there. They're constantly reacting, never being prepared. And so this is something that really sucks the joy out of it, right? It makes you anxious. It makes you feel like you're unprepared. And it also makes you frustrated when you spend, an hour trying to craft this post that really doesn't serve anybody, but you're just trying to get a bunch of words out, and then you don't even get engagement on it. Okay, so the first type of post is a viral post. This is something so new to me, something that I learned in a masterclass that I was in, and it's something that has created so much engagement, and it's also really fun. So a viral post is something that is easily shareable. I want you to think I'm going to give you examples too, but I want for you to think about the quotes or the cool little graphs that you see, or the little list that somebody took a screenshot of from their notes section. That is easy, shareable content, right? The goal of that is to get saved, to get shared to other people, and it brings new eyes into your feed. So viral content is not necessarily something that you create, it's something that you find on another account. So for me, there's an account called Scary Mommy, and it's hilarious, the funniest mom stuff. And so super easy stuff for me to screenshot, share it in my feed with a little caption, and I ask people to engage on it. And it's always the one that when I look in my insights, it's highly saved and highly shared because it reaches my audience. My audience is primarily moms, and they love the funny memes and the funny momisms. And so that's something that engages with my audience. Get rid of the worried about your feed looking so perfect and start worrying about serving your people better. So give them something to break up their feed, something that they can laugh about or share with a friend or engage upon. And that's something that is going to create some more high performing engagement that your niche, your target market, your avatar is going to highly engage with. The second type of post that we can make is a value post. And this is something that you probably already do, but you might not think about it in this way. This value content, this is content aimed to create a tighter bond with the people that are already here. So you've got your viral content, that's bringing new people in, right? You're bringing all kinds of new people into your page that are going to see you because of something that's been shared around a few times. Your value is now supporting those people who are here, right? It's helping them see that you are now a valuable place for them to be, and they want to bring people in to see your stuff because you support them and you give them stuff that they really, really need. An easy way to think about this is problem, title, outline. So your problem. What is the problem that they have? What are they struggling with? What are the people that are in your market struggling with? What do they need? The title, then, you're going to turn that problem into a title. So here's an example. Maybe they, for me, I have a lot of moms who struggle with working out because they have young kids, okay? I've got 3 kids, 5 and under. So, the problem that my people have is working out. I can't really make it happen because I've got kids. My title might be, that's eye-catching to them. 5 reasons why you actually can work out at home and your kids are not a valid excuse, right? So there's like oh man, what is she going to tell me, right? That's a good, engaging post. And I'm going to give them the tips then in my outline of bringing up some points and some bullets of how I do this, how I give them some tips of how they actually can show up and work out and how their kids are not an excuse. And this is how I do it. So it's a great time to give them tangible tips. And again, that has nothing to do with here's how you can join me, right? It's nothing about that. It's just about giving them value and supporting them on a problem that they're experiencing. Value, right? I've brought them in through some viral posts, but I'm giving them value here. The last type of post is a vulnerable post. And this is often something that is harder for newer coaches. I find, more seasoned coaches, we're usually pretty good about sharing our story and showing up and being a little bit more vulnerable, thinking of our story and going a layer deep. But this is something that has really helped my team when I talk to them about adding more value and really connecting. Like you can say, connect with your followers, right? Share your story, but really how do we do that? So this vulnerable content is created to just make an even deeper connection with your followers. So the goal of this is to get more comments, more DMs in your inbox and help them see that, they're just like you, right? Help them see that you have a story just like them. And if you can do this, they can do this. And again, this really isn't anything necessarily about what you're trying to invite them to necessarily, right? It can be, but this is a formula that I want you to try. You've got your hook, your intro, your content, and your call to action, the HICCA formula. Okay, this is something that I also learned in a masterclass, and it's transformed everything about my team and how we show up on social media and add value. So your hook is where you are just introducing a bold question or an unpopular opinion. You want to get their attention right away, right? And so I'll give you some examples. Then you've got your introduction. This is where you're kind of moving into what you're going to talk about. This is maybe a personal story, right? Like maybe it's you start with a comment that you got from a follower, and then you go into that and you say, like, this is a comment that I got from a follower on a post I made last week. The reason it really sat with me was because I've struggled with this too. So I wanted to, and then you go into your content, right? That's your third part of the HICCA formula. This is where you give like all the juicy stuff, like the bullet points, the details, the tips. These are the 5 reasons that I've realized that, the 5 ways I've been able to combat disbelief, or, whatever it is that you're talking about in this post. And then you've got your call to action at the end. And a call to action doesn't have to be joining a group or anything like that. It could just be like, drop an emoji below if you so feel me on this, or drop a comment below, or tag a friend below if there's so many good call to actions. I mean, you can Google and Pinterest that too, right? But this type of formula has really helped my team to understand what are these different types of posts that I can make, instead of, you can always add in the fluffy, here's your cute kids, here's your dog, that kind of stuff. But when you think about value, vulnerable, and viral posts, those are really great ways to break up your feed and also make sure that you are consistently adding lots and lots of value and content to your people, so that when they are in your stories or when they see a post, that when you make a valuable or a vulnerable post and that call to action is to join you in a masterclass, in a group, in a challenge group, whatever it is, man, they are connected to you. They feel all this value so strongly. So when my coaches are struggling with this engagement and this traction, I always have them go back to, am I giving enough? And if not, what is it that my ideal person needs to hear right now? And this is something that can drive a massive force behind what you do every single day and how you show up in your feed and in your stories all the time. So challenge your team, and I challenge you to go ahead and create 15 value posts. What are 15 things that your people need to hear about? You can give them some tangible tips on. What are 10 viral posts that you can make? Start going to accounts that you love to follow and save those posts, save those graphics, those quotes, all those things that you're loving, because you know that your people that are just like you are probably going to love that too. Add those into your feed plan, and then make 5 vulnerable posts, right? This is something you can do once a week, maybe twice a week, really letting people feel the feelings, right? And want to DM you and say, me too, right? I had no idea you felt that way. I get it. I was there too. And that's something that's going to really transform your business. So I hope this helped. You guys rock. And yeah, try these tips out and see if it changes your feed and changes the reaction that you get out of your followers.